Yeah, he walked around. He enunciates so much better than I do. Sound like the hip that I am. His Martian going to check in. That's supposed to be. Okay, this is here. I haven't seen Robert. Everybody said that. Get that out. Robert. Hey, Robert, just disregard what I just said. Make sure you're running.
Wow, I tell you, this is a tough time to get across town.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Traffic was tough.
Hey, Robert, I like your shirt. Haven't got so far though. I mean,
He's a minority. Yes, he is.
Marcy, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, perfect. Yep, thank you. Yeah. If you look on your feet, some kind of this. Oh, I don't know. And so if you look at your sheet, this nothing changed. The problem is, I mean, how do you do that? How do you break those down? This is going back everybody. So that long, how much we pay? Look at this, just got the increase there. This, I don't know, I can't play for No, it's fine. And then on the top one, this. Yeah, that's, yeah, so I want to say that we go.
Play today? Saturday? I played on Monday. It was breezy, but the temperature wasn't good. Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna hold off until it turns to ice.
Yeah, until it's cold. I'm the same way. I'm a fair weather golfer. Most of I can do it, but.
Yeah. We got about another week and a half and then I think it's.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
And then the temperature like 21st of February is spring. Yeah. Yeah.
High 40s. Worst case.
I got better.
Right now. We will need that for a minute. We will need that for a minute. So maybe that'll be down. Yeah, we'd like to call the meeting to order. Hey, folks, we're gonna go ahead and get started, please. And we are recording the minutes and what have you as per required, so it does pick up all the murmur and the chatter that's throughout the room. So the less we have, the clearer that we will get a recording of the meeting. So if you could, hold down the conversation between your compadres or whatever the case may be, and we will address everything that we can and get on with the meeting. And the first thing would be obviously public comments, and I don't know if we have individuals representing groups or how many individuals would care to address it, but whomever you want, just come right up here so that we can get some good audio for your comments and what have you, and we'll get started with that. Do we have a taker on the first one?
Yes, so what is the goal of this meeting?
The goal of the meeting is to set the rates that will be initiated March 1st.
Who sets the rates? The board. Just the board? Who's the board?
Golf board.
So are you guys like a citizens committee or you guys work for the city?
We were appointed, but we were appointed by city, or they, not me, they were appointed by city council as the golf board of governors.
Okay.
So yeah, this board went into effect about 2 years ago. One of their responsibilities is to set the rates, its budget, look at project planning, that sort of.
So have you already decided on a rate and this meeting is just to listen?
We're gonna have a lot of discussions.
Okay, all right, I figured, yeah.
Okay, and further to that, the reason the board here is when they decided to try to privatize it, the council chose not to, but when they chose not to privatize the 4 city courses, they then decided they needed an overseeing board, which is how we were created. So,
And let me go into that a little further. The board is comprised of one person that represents each course. That's very active in the leagues. Kind of, it plays kind of their home course. So each course has one representative there. We have one, Mike he has an agronomy background. We have Evan, who is a accounting background. And then Malad is kind of an F&B and retail specialist. That's his background. So kind of to represent each part of the business.
and that being said, we got assigned the task of obviously setting rates. So, which is the sole reason that we're here this afternoon. So again, anybody that would like to address the board concerning rates is more than welcome to, but we just ask you to get up here so we can make sure we do get a good audio. Yes, sir, Tim.
I just want, have you guys ever considered doing like a weekend pass, a 5-day pass and a 7-day pass?
There's been
a lot of different passes suggested, and I do know that in the old days, we had a 5-day, 7-day passes in a couple of categories, and this has all been suggested, and I know hashed and rehashed this for 2.5 months, so.
And we're gonna go over some options that have been submitted by the board, and a couple of the options have.
Okay. Thank you.
I did not anticipate the glare on the screen right at the moment to start this meeting, so hopefully that goes away pretty before.
Is there any way to turn the lights down just a little?
Well, I think maybe setting that,
Since it's not in that window there.
Yeah,
I apologize for that.
in the next few minutes, that should move by the time we get to the presentation, so hopefully that'll be much better in just a couple of minutes.
Connors, you're out.
For the purposes of, we do have one board member that is not with us, and Marcia is online here, so we do have a full voting board this meeting, so hopefully we will come up with some type of decision, so.
And Marcia, just to be safe again, now that the room's quiet, could you speak just to make sure we can hear you?
Hi, yes, good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
My name is Dave Bernick, and I've been a member since the inception of the program. It's wonderful. Hats off to everybody. Jesse's been a godsend to the golf program. Glad to have you. If I understand it correctly, the golf enterprise fund, is that correct?
Yes.
The money there's no tax dollars that go into that. That fund is strictly greens fees, concessions, merchandise.
Correct.
The October, November maintenance. I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but the money that comes in, it's all accounted for. You're the accountant guy.
No, it's not for the city, but
Does the golf money go into the golf fund alone, or does it go into a general fund?
No, it goes into the golf fund. And I can tell you, I've been here 2.5 years, and I pretty much track every dollar just to make sure that I see where it shows up on the board. So the golf money does stay in the golf system. There is an administrative fee that goes to the city, and that's determined. They use percentages, it's a formula they use, but it pays for the IT services that we receive from the city, the legal services, HR services, things like that. This year, I want to say it was like right at $200,000. I can verify that. And that number kind of changes with that formula that the city uses. But other than that, nothing goes to the city. It all stays in the golf.
Okay, so the 200,000 was a percentage of outside help within the city, and it just total 200,000?
Correct. It's a formula. So it's a formula. They take all the departments and everybody pays their share essentially. So that's what our share came out to.
And my last statement, don't take this the wrong way. I'm just a wise guy from New York. The money that's collected, is there any chance that someone might just put their hand in that till and take some money for some other project within the city? It's pretty well controlled.
It would be controlled, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that would have to go for money to leave our budget.
Yep.
It would have to go through anything over 50,000 would have to go through a city council process to do a budget adjustment. And that's not gonna happen.
And I'll just shout out is these numbers are this, I'm a senior guy and I think it's wonderful. It's great value for the dollar. We play a lot of golf and you can't beat that. So hats off. Good job. So that's all.
Just a little bit more on what Jesse said. I've been associated with the golf system now for, 40 or 50 years, I suppose. We had never ever received any financial help from the city. It was all done on enterprise funds strictly for the whole time that I've been associated with it. And for the first time, the council did appropriate $6 million to help us redo all the irrigation systems on the facilities, which will help us overall in the agronomics and playability and everything, which is why we're having this meeting. And in that CIP issue, they did say that the golf course needs to offset whatever the differential in cost is to do those 4 systems above and beyond the $6 million that they allocated for it.
4.4.
And so that's where we get into having to subsidize the amount of money that it's going to take to replace them versus what it was put into the CIP. So thus requiring the obvious increase because we do need to offset. This is a ongoing program. I think it's on a 10-year revenue bond. And
if I can add to that too, in the process of approving that money to get the irrigation done, they also wiped out the debt that was owed for Auburn Hills. It's been on the books for 20 years. It was $5.7 million. It's kind of just been hanging apparently over the golf system's head forever. They finally wiped that out. I mean, since I've been here, there's been a ton of discussion about that should have happened a long time ago. Different councils had different opinions, but that was a big thing, a big deal for us to get that wiped off the books. Because that, even when I first got here, everything I tried to do, it was kind of held over our head. Well, you still owe money. We can't give you more, we can't help you when you owe us money. So getting that taken off the books and then also getting the approval for the irrigation with their help was a major step in the right direction and definitely something I'm very appreciative of City Council working with us.
Jesse, how many members are there in the 2,000, 3,000?
No. There's about 1,500. That number changes. Obviously, we, add and subtract, but it's around 1,500 total.
And that's all categories.
That's all categories. Of that number, about 840 are senior members. So that's the biggest group by far. Around 200 adult, around 220 young adult, and about 150 couples.
Could you elaborate on that? I hear you saying 6 million.
It was
Amount wiped off for Auburn Hills debt. Could you explain that a little more?
I missed it. The 6 million was kind of what they anticipated initially. It might be to do all the systems. And then they changed that, which the city put in the 4.5.
It's 4.4 million is what we received from the city. We cover everything else. So the 4.4 is money that the city is going to help with the irrigation, the 4 irrigation replacements that are desperately needed. The 5.7 million was what was still on the books from the year 2000 when this place was built.
So you got roughly $10 million. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. If you look at $10 million subsidy.
Thank you.
Now, for the purposes of the reason that we did it a little bit more, Sim Park has already been bid and ready to go. And we're looking at approximately $1.5 million to do it. And Jesse will elaborate on those here a little bit later, but we're probably having you want to stay around and listen to that. But you're all very welcome to do it. So, but yeah, it's an inexpensive thing. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Bob Function, been a member for about 4 or 5 years. So with the amount of money that you want to raise by the different rate proposals, is there a bottom line you feel you need to make each year? Is that what the rates are going to be based on? Or is it going to be based upon market value? How are you determining the rates?
It's hard to quantify that because you never know when you raise rates, how much attrition you're going to have, how many people are going to drop out or say, well, that's not for me then. I don't play enough golf to make that worth my while. So you can't really quantify it.
Do you have an idea though of what your expenses are going to be? And are you setting money aside, rainy day money for future, or are you just going year to year?
The studies that I've heard said that the next 2 sprinkler system or irrigation systems will be somewhere around 2 to 2.5 million. And then this last one here will probably be in the 2.5 to possibly 3 million. So, it's a time frame thing. You get 4 years out, the price is probably going to go up some. I mean, again, it's hard to quantify.
And I'm talking more than just a sprinkler system.
For the purpose of your
Extra year of maintenance.
The purpose of your question, we retain $1 million in a fund so that whenever we go into an operating year, we have $1 million against January. We never played any golf. Obviously, we lost that revenue. So we would probably have that money. We would have that available to dip in to pay our bills.
So let me
kind
of explain. What I've done over the last 2 years, I've created a project fund. So at the end of the year, anything over $1 million is automatically transferred into project funds. And that could be new equipment, that could be course maintenance, projects, different things. To leave $1 million to start the year every single year. That way, if there's issues, probably that money, $1 million is my zero, is the way I look at it. That's where we're broke. But that project fund, we've got cart fund, course improvement fund, equipment fund, and clubhouse fund. So we have basically 4 buckets that we can move that money into as we need. So if we have a year that it's not that great, then we wouldn't transfer as much and we would just not be able to do as many things that we want to do. But we've always stayed at that million. And then also to kind of elaborate, I know he talked about the sprinkler systems, but the expenses on the golf courses have more than, and fertilizer, chemicals, seed have more than doubled in the last 4 years. Equipment, a fairway mower that cost $60,000 is now $119,000 in a 5-year period. Expenses have went crazy. So yes, we have to cover the cost of the sprinklers, but it's also just like everything else in the world,
Right.
continues to go up. So,
Right.
Yep.
And how much of that do you take out of membership? I mean, is the membership 80% of your fund or?
No. We did almost 6 million. Last year, the memberships were $1,568,931. So just over 1.5 million. And the fund did a total of about $6 million. So, yes.
I'm Jim Friend. No, that's the other there. Is there a specific, we're kind of beating around this number, I think, as far as I'm concerned. Is there a specific budget number that you have in mind for 2025 that memberships have to be there?
Well,
In other words, it's kind of like a pie in the sky. This is the number that we think we need. And, our membership, whatever you want to call them, we have to try to use that to be there.
I'll answer that and then I'll let, the board ultimately makes a decision, but per council, we have to come up with $200,000. That was the minimum that they required us to come up with an extra revenue in order to approve the irrigation. Excuse me. With that being said, I think this board, I would hope everybody in this room, there are a lot of improvements we want to make. Last year, I'm not going to sit here and say it was a good year. It was a rough year with the conditions. There are a lot of things that we want to improve and we have to be sustainable. We have to keep paying for all the things that are going up. So we're looking at several projects we want to do. All the main thing this year, the focus 1000% is course conditions. That's the number one thing we're after. So, putting an exact number on that depends on, what are you really wanting to accomplish? We have to pay for the irrigation, but now we also want to make a lot of improvements. So 200,000 is the minimum that we are required to come up with. There's a lot of factors that could play into it. It could be the weather, it might rain for 3 months straight. I've had that happen a couple of years in my career where you're not making any revenue. So we still have to make sure you account for that. The economy could crash, so many different things that could happen. So we just are trying to set ourselves up where we can be sustainable, make the improvements that we want. And I think everybody in this room wants, and make sure that we can continue moving in the right direction going forward. Better product, better golf course for all of you. So it doesn't really answer. I know you're looking for a specific number. We've got several different options here that we're going to go over, and I think you'll kind of see it'll kind of make sense a little bit more when we get into the presentation. And then you guys chime in.
Yes, sir. Any other questions, comments? Yes, sir. Can't see you.
Bob Prevotero. Money matters aside, my only concern is are the seniors going to lose any playing privileges, particularly on the weekend? That seems to be what was in the initial, when you took that poll online. That seemed to be the only factor that you're scared of me. Can I not play on weekends?
We have a few options in this presentation we'll go over that's been submitted by the various board members. A couple have the option for that. So as we go through, we've not decided. That's what this meeting is. This is to hash this out, discuss it, and decide. There are a few options that have a 7 or 5 day pass.
Okay, well, I just think that's probably a bigger issue than the
Sure.
few dollars.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
My name is Louis Strother, and you just mentioned there are 840 out of 1,200 that are in the membership category. I've been in that for a long time, and I've got the 7 day. I understand we have to make money and everything else. All I ask, and I can see the majority in here are seniors. Just be fair to them. Even in the 7-day fast, just be fair to them. You know, these seniors are here for a reason. They like to play golf. And we have 840 members of them.
Chris Lopez here. As you can see, I'm probably the only young guys here. I heard the young guy too. I can tell you, anybody in this room is not here because of weekend warriors or anything. We take this game very seriously. And we send a lot of our funding, towards that. Some of us maybe more than others, but I think that everybody in this room is here to kind of look into this and see exactly where this money's going, what you're asking us for and all that. Because, I'll be honest, last year I was wondering where the hell all the money was going to, based upon where I explained what I was funding with, whenever I was able to go to other places for what I felt like was cheaper for a hell of a lot better course. So just try to not just the old guys, the young guys too, okay?
Yes, sir.
Well, I have a two-part question. First of all, do we have a new rate that's suggested? Oh, my name is Josh, for those who don't know me. Do we have a rate that's going to be replacing the current rates? And then is there a matrix to how you're going to increase based on the demographics of the age groups?
Yeah, so the current system has, so you've got essentially 4 categories. Young adult right now goes through 34, 18 to 34, or through 33, I'm sorry. Adult is 34 to 61, and then seniors start at 62. So that's kind of the breakdown and then of the age, the categories. And then, yeah, the purpose of this meeting is to determine what the rates will be going forward. So they essentially will change.
I think you missed the question. The question was, how are you going to allocate the rates? Is it going to be a fair blanket across all ages, or is it going to be this demographic gets 5% dollars or?
No, so again, there's going to be, I think we have 6 plans that we're going to show on the presentation to be able to look at. They all have kind of different thoughts behind them. So we haven't determined anything yet. And that's, once we go through the plans, you'll kind of be able to see that. And maybe we can answer those kind of questions after the plans are reviewed.
Jesse, real quick.
Yes, sir.
The 200,000 that you have to, that's what you guys are going to come up with. Is that based solely on membership amounts?
No.
Is that cart rental, all that?
Revenue in general. So to be clear, we're not just looking at members. To me, whether you're a member or not, if you play the golf course, it's a public golf course owned by the city. That burden should be shared across everyone that plays the course. So we're looking at green fees, we're looking at memberships, we're looking at all the different areas of the business. So it's not just we're throwing it all on the members. And we'll get into that also. Yes.
But this meeting is just about membership.
That's it. Okay, well, no,
Rates.
it's about 25.
We'll talk about green fees.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, all of the monies generated through the 4 facilities is put into one pot, whether it's concessions, whether it's carts, whether it's range balls, whatever the case may be. So, and then it's used to dispersed out to pay the bills.
Do the pros get a percentage? Anymore?
No, they own they own the shop. So the merchandise, that's their business. And then they just have a salary. There's no green fee or cart percentage. It goes to the pros.
Further questions, comments?
I have one. I'm Daryl Clappin. I'm a veteran member out here and I play all the city courses. Who determines, like this last year, they replaced a lot of cart pass. Who determines who you used to replace those cart pass? Is it by bid?
That's by bid.
It's by bid. So you just look at different organizations around town.
Yes, sir. We went on that. That was a true bid. So it's either a request for proposal or a request for bid. That was a bid. So as long as the companies met the requirements, they submit their bid and we go with the best bid. Some projects, it would be a request for proposal. So that would be more like the irrigation. That was more than just lowest price. There was a lot of factors that had into it, but it's all good.
The other comment I wanted to make on that is I've been a businessman for over 40 years. I've dealt with a lot of business people and there are a lot of businesses willing to trade their services for a year membership or something like that for their employees. If you've never considered that, that's something you ought to look at, because concrete companies, asphalt companies, and I'm not in that business,
Right.
but they always have to dispose of used, of their overages. And maybe some of these areas, you guys could do a trade, and they'd be glad to come out and do it. But
I will say when I was at private clubs, we did that constantly. That's how we survived. With us being government, that gets a lot trickier. There's a lot of more requirements. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's very difficult there's a lot of kind of red tape that goes
so
with that.
your board here decides that? You don't have to get that approved by the city?
No, that would be through the city, yeah. To get some kind of a trade like that, that would have to go through auditing and.
Well, since it's passed last year, how did that get approved?
The project got approved and then we did the bid process.
Was it approved by the board or by the city?
The board recommends it to votes to approve it, and then it goes to city council to approve the
Okay.
project. Yes. And there's thresholds.
So there's still some oversight as to, you can't just do whatever you want to do.
Right, there are thresholds on anything above certain amount. There's different levels depending on how much you're trying to spend. So anything over 50,000, we would need to, make sure I'm getting the number right. 50,000 would have to go through council.
Okay. My only other comment about the fees, the rates and stuff. Everybody in this room knows that a lot of people went out of town the last couple of years to play golf for numerous reasons. And I see that you're taking steps to, improve our courses, which will bring people back. But, and I'm not going to give a condition one way or the other, but that's obviously why you're looking at the rates. Are we going to be driving people away? The younger generation have jobs. They have to work during the week. So the only time they're going to play is night or weekends. And the veterans are going to play whenever they want to. So I don't know how forming you figure all that in, but that's why everybody's here to listen to what your proposals are.
Sure.
Okay. Any further comments? Yep, just a little trailer for what you just suggested. That part of what Jesse said, the city services that were received is part of the $200,000 oversight charge that we get. So, which is why, how we pay for purchasing or how we pay for an inspector to come out and look at whatever project might be going on that requires city permitting and those kind of things. Again, we're actually paying for that. So it's just.
So I've been here for 30 years, and there's been times when I've wanted to invite other golfers to come to Wichita to play the courses. And they're like, our courses are a lot better down here. So now that we're making some improvements, it won't, it might bring some outside revenue that you didn't expect.
I know we're getting the hair off the topic here, but we all realize on the board that last year wasn't a premier year for course conditions. Now, Mother Nature had a lot to do with that, and it's the ice and that we got, we were frozen down in the severe temperatures, and the city, in order to try to conserve water and costs, we've gone to warm season grasses. And when you go to warm season grasses, outside of zoysia, it has a tendency to get damaged severely through winter processes. And we have 3 courses that are Bermuda and 1 that is zoysia. The zoysia survived the best, although we did have some attrition here, of which part of we're looking at on these fee hikes is we're going to sod those spots here this summer. And we're in the process of trying to buy sod for that now because it's hard to get.
The reason why I brought that up, because no business can survive without new business.
That's true.
As we all die off, somebody's got to take our place. If you don't have outside people coming in, you're wasting revenue that you could have had. So now that the courses are starting to improve, keep that in your decisions to bring outside people. And I know groups that will go for 1 week and spend the same money that we spend all year to go somewhere else and play on a vacation or whatever.
Yeah.
But why not make Wichita a place where they can come in and stay in the hotels and spend their money in the restaurants here. And the only way you're gonna do that is by improving the courses. That's just the only way you're gonna do it. We're not setting up on the map. We don't have, I've been there 30 years and I love Wichita courses. I'm not trying to knock them, but there's a lot of nice courses everywhere.
Yeah, and I think the board is cognizant of that fact, and is that I know this is doesn't directly address your question. Is that we have numerous kids programs that we support. I mean, we got Hook a Kid and we got Wichita Golf, you got First Tee and
Nearly 2,000 kids come through our programming this summer.
and there are minimal charge things that we try to support, and there's, and I agree with
I
you.
put my kids they were in that program when they were younger. And I now have 6 family members that all play golf besides me, but I'm the only one that's retired.
Yeah,
So,
they're looking for it.
you got 2 different audiences, what someone said
Yeah.
earlier. You got 2 different audiences.
You're absolutely correct.
we did break or right around Brown's record, correct?
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah, last year we did 189,000 rounds. This year we did 180 plus, almost 181,000 rounds. The last year was a record. This year, we had to close techs for a month to re-sprig those fairways and take care of that winter kill. And then we had more rain, a little bit more rain this year than last year, but even so, we did over 180,000 rounds. One of our biggest issues is we don't have enough tee times. And you all have probably talked to me about that, trying to figure out how to get tee times. Right now, that's not the issue, but with that you get more business, obviously, if you're doing it right, that's more revenue, that's more profit, but that also brings a lot more expense. So, there's a lot to that. I have a lot of people say, well, you're busy right now. There's no way you need the money. That is a lot of wear and tear. 180,000 rounds in a year is a lot of wear and tear. It's very hard for maintenance to get on the course with people everywhere. A lot of expense comes along with that. And it's just, there's so much to consider when making this decision. Yes.
Earl Stevens, that 180,000 rounds, said, what percentage was paid for by the membership fees and what percentage was paid for by non-membership green fees?
Yeah, I've got it on a slide coming up in a second.
Okay.
It's green fees are 1.9, memberships is 1.568. So that's dollar amount. Rounds were
I think it was 180.
Yeah, that's about right. It's about 100,000, about 80,000 member rounds.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got it. We'll take a second. Yeah. Okay. Get into it?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Okay, we've got 2 TVs on both sides of the room. That's the same thing that's on the screen. So if you're back there, it may be easier to look on that, but I'll try to go through this. First thing I want to say is this is great. I love seeing this room full of people. Getting your feedback is very important. So thank you all for being here. It shows that you care, and I appreciate that. And I want to hear from you. So thank you for being here. Couple things I want to go over before we get into the rates, and that's kind of what we're about and what led us to doing this today. So first thing I want to do is start with the mission statement. The mission statement of the Wichita Public Golf is to provide affordable and accessible golf facilities that promote recreational and competitive play, foster community engagement, and deliver excellent customer service while ensuring financial stability. It's very important to me. I came from the private golf course and then I was at a resort course. I came to public golf, to municipal golf, because I can get more people that otherwise would not. I mean, a lot of people, they don't want to be a member at a private club, or maybe it's just not in their cards to join a private club for some $70,000 initiation or something. I can get to the kids that otherwise maybe not would play. So to me, being able to provide that affordable golf, doing the best job we can possibly do is extremely important to me. That's the demographic, that's the population of golfers that I really wanted to work with. So I'm very happy to be here. And I think that's very important to remember that we're not a private club. We need to keeping our heads that we are a municipal golf course. Current circumstances, as we've talked about, City Council approved the irrigation, which by the way is all that is done. They're signing the contract, sending it back. It should start in about 2 weeks. So you'll start seeing crews mobilized at SIM. It's very exciting. But part of With that, we did get some funding from the city. It's 1.1 million each course, 4.4 million over the next 4 years. So this was only approved with the agreement that we would implement a plan to increase revenue to ensure that we have the ability to pay for our portion of the project. The overall expenses continue to rise aside from irrigation. As I've talked about, everything is going up, and I'm gonna show some examples here. And then there's many things that we want to do. We want to make the courses better. So it's not just about the irrigation. It's about, a lot of things we want to do and you have to pay for it. So kind of finding that sweet spot of how do we do that and still stay affordable. So looking at the golf industry first, across the nation, this is private clubs. I understand it's different, but the average initiation fee was $26,000 in 2019. It's $49,000 now in 2024. Now I understand that's a little bit of there's a demand, so they are taking advantage of it, but it also is due to the expenses. Average dues at a private club have went up 27%. I talked about it earlier. John Deere rough mower, 61,000 in 2019. The stat I showed, so 98,000. I can tell you, we just priced one. It was 116,000, and that was with we get a discount being a partner with First Tee. It was 116,000 for a mower that was 60,000 back a few years ago, and that's just every piece of equipment has done the same thing. Fertilizer, other applications, everything we do, some have doubled or even more just in the last 4 years, just like everything has. So, looking again across kind of the industry, the black line is the percentage of increase for each year of green fees, and then the yellow line is the just the U.S. inflation rate. But if you go back 18, it went up 1.5%, 2.3%, 2%, 3.5%. The 2022 went up 6.4%, and then another 4.3% in 23. Now I haven't seen the 24 numbers yet, but I'm assuming they're going to be right along those same lines. So it's every golf course is having to make adjustments to make sure they can be sustainable. So here's what you were asking about. We had 180,000 total rounds. Member rounds were 183. So whatever that comes out to, 97 non-member rounds, 97,000. Of the member rounds, we broke it down by each category. So adults were about 13,000, 16% of the total member rounds. Young adults were 9,400, 12%, couples 15%. And then the seniors were just under 50,000 rounds, or 57% of all member rounds. Okay, before I get into that, I brought a display here. I want to point this out, and this is kind of to the board members also. I don't know if you've seen this or not. It's a 2024 community survey. It's something that City Council put out. This is basically what City Council is using as a guide to determine how they're going to spend money and what needs to be done. So if you look at this chart, it kind of goes from top to bottom is how the community rated each thing as far as quality. You go left to right, it's the order of importance. So golf courses are on the far left. That is, you can see golf course, if you can't see it, golf courses are right here. That means the quality they rated quality okay at 65%. It's right in line and above a lot of the other services and amenities that the city offers. The most important part to look at is golf was rated the least important. We're a paid product. So a lot of you look at parks and you look, obviously, police, fire, ambulance, all those things are going to definitely be more important than golf. But as a paid product, it was on the survey showed up as the least important. I point this out because right now, just talking to everybody about what's happened over the last 30 years, City Council and golf have had a weird relationship. It's not been that great. Over the last 2 years, I feel like we've worked really hard to build that relationship, get their support on things. They're actually been really great for me to work with. When I need something, they're very receptive. We have a few golfers on the board now. But to the board, I think if we go too crazy trying to do this, and we have set all the golfers, and if they start hearing, they're going to lose faith in our ability here because they're going to see that people aren't happy. And then when we go, they're using this to determine what they support. And if we lose that good relationship we have with them, and then they look at this and we're the least important, it's going to really strain what we're able to do. I mean, like it or not, we have to have their support for a lot of things. So I just want to be mindful of that. We have to do what we have to do, but also, our job and our ability to move forward is much better if we have a good relationship with city council. So I just kind of wanted to point that out. I think it's a great tool. I personally, as a citizen, like that they're using this to kind of guide their use as a blueprint on how they navigate the city finances over the next few years. But unfortunately, golf is not ever going to be at the most important level yet. So take that for what it's worth.
Jesse, can I add something else about this here particular slide?
Yep.
We go through and run the numbers on how many rounds are played. So how much revenue is generated, how many rounds are played. On an adult, the city gets $23 per round with the number of rounds they play. A young adult, they created $27 worth of revenue per round. The couples generated $20 of revenue per round. And on the seniors, it generated $14 per revenue per round. So you can see the largest number of rounds, the smallest amount of revenue. It's not rocket science, okay?
Right. All right. So we have 6 options that have been submitted by various board members. And as we kind of go through the slides, I'll let whoever submitted the proposal go through it. And then if there are any other, you guys please speak up and stop me. But so option 1, this is what went out in the survey. This was kind of the starting point of when we started these discussions after council made the requirement. If you look at the top option there, basically it's just a small increase across the board. You can see our current rates are right over here on this side. If it may be hard to see yet, I tried, but it's about a $7 increase to young adult, $7 for adult. This is rounding up. Couples go up about $10 and seniors go up $7 with this. There's no restriction, nothing changes other than the dollar amount. When we sent out the survey, 60% were in favor of that option over option 2. Option 2 at the bottom of the screen. Everybody goes up except for seniors. They say the same, but that would be Monday through Friday only. If you wanted to play weekends, you would have to pay the adult fee. 40% like that option because they said they did not play on the weekends. Okay. And let me go through them and then we can go back and discuss. So again, this is all just up for discussion tonight. Randy submitted this option, so I'll let you walk through this.
Yeah, this is just a one pass option. It cuts out all the segregating and all the levels or whatever. It's just, there's a golf pass. Doesn't matter how old, young or woman, whatever, doesn't matter. Anything, it's just a golf pass. Do you want a golf pass? Here's what it costs. And I did several iterations. If it's $100 a month, 110, 125, and then rolled it out with the current number of passes that we have today, what that would generate in revenue. And then the bottom one is the same thing, except for I put 200 pass attrition in there, figuring a couple hundred people would not want to pass. And it might be more than that. Hell, we don't know. I mean, but the reason I did this was because there were people saying that they're not being treated fairly. If you pay $125 and someone else is paying $70 for the same product or service, the guy who's paying $125 saying, I'm not being treated fairly. So.
Well, we've been golfing here 40 years.
Yeah,
We've been paying.
You still take up one fee time just like everybody else can.
I know that.
You're one person. So anyway, it's based on equality for everybody across the board. It doesn't matter who you are, how old you are. Doesn't matter your race, age, religion, gender, nothing matters. It's just simply a golf pass. You want a golf pass? You're not on a golf pass. And the thing about these passes, when you guys look at these passes, just note through all these passes that you're going to see today, the highest price you're going to see is $125. So that equates to 3 green fees and $5. And then you pay for 31 days or 30 days. I don't know if you guys consider that a good value. I consider it a fantastic value personally, but that's the worst case scenario you're going to see on any of these slides that you see today. $125 is going to be the absolute worst. So if you don't play more than 3 times in a month, probably maybe pass it in for me. I don't know. I have no idea how many times people play golf.
maybe I didn't hear that, but that 120 or 125 per month, that was for 1 month, but that's on an annual basis. Are you saying, okay, the average consumer has to look at that? And how many times am I gonna be able to play because of weather, winter, et cetera? Or you can't get a tee time.
You have to factor all that
Based on
in.
conditions, are you guys competitive with the surrounding area? Do you feel like?
I think we are actually more than competitive from the studies that we've done.
Thank you. So here's.
So I can tell you, I'll just tell you, like Sand Creek. Sand Creek's pass, and they don't have a senior pass. It's just $1,500. And then if you want to add your spouse or your son or your daughter, it's an extra $300. So the $1,500 equates to $125 a month, if you do the math. And then the $300.
That includes card.
That includes cart and green fee. Now, Sand Creek is also subsidized by.
Sand Creek is also subsidized.
Agreed. Agreed.
You
I
said
just,
subsidized?
I've heard a number, I don't want to say, I don't know if I'm exact, but I know they are, I just don't know how much. It's a decent amount.
Last time I played over there was $28, which included the cart. That doesn't come close to 125.
yeah, I'm not talking about the green fee. I'm talking
Talk
about.
about a year's
membership.
pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the green fees are.
What it sounds like to me, I think you guys shot yourself in the foot a little bit when they offered the senior pass at the discounted rate, because here's the truth of it. The tee times, the people that work they have to play the weekend. So instead of penalizing them by letting the old guys in that are, even though most of us play during the week, the seniors that have the cheap membership, you don't want them playing the weekend. You want to make hay when the sun shines, right? So just say those words. But instead of penalizing the old guys who are a pretty good size of your business, why not incentivize the off times for everybody to get us off the tee times where you can make your hay instead of penalize? That would just be the way I look at it. And I have one more question, and I'm not doubting you, Jesse, one bit. But I have not seen 100% increase in 6 years in any equipment. I've seen up to 50, but never have I seen 100%. So whoever's buying your mowers.
I didn't say the equipment, I said the fertilizer, all that, the mower that I said.
The mowers, according to Google, they've gone up 25 to 35%. 100% sounds off the chart to me. Now, I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying somebody better do some shopping. 100% increase. I have my doubts.
I mean, basically, there's 3 to 4 companies that make golf equipment that's good, and we have to get quotes on every piece of equipment. I mean, we have
an increase really high to me.
It's
well, it must be.
On that aspect right there, for the purpose of your conversation right there.
How much are you counting on seniors renting cars? I spend $60 a week to rent a car.
Yeah, that's not in the past.
I know, but it's in my cost.
Yeah.
Well,
I play on the weekends and I want to play on the weekend. I've been a member for 43 years. And I had 3 doctor's appointments this week. Don't mean just because I don't work. That I don't want to play on the weekend.
Is there a question or you just making a statement?
The clarification for the other gentleman, he's speaking equipment. There's so many rules and regulations on chemicals and what have you. People don't realize it because a golf course is not labeled as a farm. You can go buy some chemical that costs $10 at a farm and you put a golf course label on it, it now costs $50. Now, the federal government does that for you. And if you go out to a co-op and you buy that $10 chemical and bring it back and spray it on the golf course, they can shut down your licenses and they can fine you till.
Especially for very.
I mean, it's a kind of funny what happens to golf because, you know, you hate to say it, but they've always considered golf, quote unquote, elitist sport. So, you know, you're only supposed to have a lot of money if you play golf. Well, they charge for that when you try to take care of the golf course in the same manner, unfortunately. So there's all kinds of quirks that that happen in the golf business that you don't realize it. So, in terms of what it costs, it's ever evolving what the feds turn around and do to you. So,
Okay, we've got, again, we'll go through the options. I've got 3 other options. Any other comments on this real quick? We're gonna come back and visit. I just want to go through them all. So let's go ahead and move on to option 4. This was Randy as well, so go ahead.
Yeah, this was going to a 5-day, 7-day type pass instead of taking the segregation of ages out of it and just going to a 5-day and 7-day. And then it also included 10% discount for seniors off of both the 5 and the 7-day. So I looked at some of the other courses, what they charge for a 5-day, because, you know, we haven't had it here and I didn't really know. So just kind of looking at an industry standard to have a starting point. And none of this is set in stone. This is just, we're trying to find somewhere to start to make a decision. So anyway, you can kind of read it for yourself, but it's started at 80 days for a 5-day pass. Anybody can have it. Doesn't matter your age or gender or nothing. 7-day pass, 125. Again, free green fees, play all month. Couples, 146.
Is that couples, is that 5-day or 7-day?
Couples would be a 7-day. That's what I did is we were originally going to raise our adult rate $6 up to 125. So I raised the couples $12, $6 for each person. And that's where I came up with that number.
That seems awful cheap for a couple. That's the same rate as a senior 5-day.
Yes.
Exactly. I'm gonna
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a form a couple here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Will you be my couple?
I don't know. And then
We're making relationships tonight.
and then the 10% discounts down below there, 72.
Discount, Randy, that's for a senior 5 or 62, that's like a 38%.
Where? What are you talking
You
about?
go from 70-36 to 112-50.
Yeah, it is going to be significantly more. And the reason, Pat, is because when you look at the numbers and you look at 47,000 rounds and we're getting $14 a round. So if somebody comes in and plays, they give us $40. So we're leaving a little money on the table. Even if an adult plays, we get $27. I mean, I would love it for if we could get the seniors to where it was like about $20 per round. Up with the other passes, you know, if it's somewhat equitable, I think. I mean, you have to look at the numbers. I mean, this is strictly going off of a 10% discount off of the 125.
Let me ask you about this number. You told us how many rounds we had last year. Is there room to get more rounds in or not?
Very little. We did 189.
So the increase has to come from your existing audience.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, literally our biggest complaint, bar none, is I can never get it.
Yeah, I've heard that
Yeah.
sometimes. You know, this is just off the cuff, but everybody here's old enough to know that, you know, anybody that's ever been in business knows your repeat customers are your foundation. If you don't have them, you don't have a business. It's the gravy you get from bringing new people in, new programs like a vacation package. Maybe you can offer a 10% discount if people pay up front for the year. I mean, just think outside the box and maybe you can come up with some way to generate, instead of me playing twice a week, if you can figure it out how I can play 3 times a week. Because your biggest base is over the 62 age. So if you can figure out to get them to play more, which that's why I'm asking even if you say, well, we can't give any more tee times no matter what, we're just talking in circles. If you can't play any more rounds.
Well, if you change tee times to every 9 minutes, that's 1 more tee time.
That would be it. So look, I know, I'm sorry I didn't respond to you. I got you, but you look at like a private club, they're doing 27,000 when we're doing 50,000 rounds. That's impossible. If you go 9 minutes, 8 minutes, it turns into a nightmare.
Yeah, and I don't know the interaction. I'm just throwing that out there.
The course operators, I mean, if anything, I would almost rather go the other way because we get so backed up. And if we decrease that, I've done this at other courses that were super busy. It becomes an absolute nightmare when you try to do the starter. I know you're starter to Marshall. It's, on paper, that sounds good. I fell into that. I tried it and it was a debacle.
I didn't get the email, but are you saying current standards won't work? What you have currently won't work? Is that what you're saying? That we have to go to another plan?
For the props you're saying, or teachers?
Yes.
Props.
I mean, I haven't read the email, so I'm not sure where we're going, but
I mean, that's part of
can
it.
you say we're gonna leave everything the same as last year or not?
We have to do, according to.
We have to do
from
something.
council, we have to raise revenue. We have to increase revenue.
I vote all you want.
We got a couple more, so. Let's go through it.
Jesse, all this talk.
We don't want to see them.
All this talk of the monies that you're increasing, I haven't heard any mention of increasing. I haven't heard any mention of increasing the cost of the carts. I play 3 times a week. There's $45 over and above this I'm paying every week. So I'm averaging $275 a month playing golf. Are you increasing the cost of the carts also? Are they staying at $15?
We just did an increase on carts. I think we all agree we really didn't want to do that again. We have a cart fund that I created that ensures that $3 from each cart rental goes into a fund to make sure that we always have new carts and we're not in the situation we were in last year. When I first got here, we had 30 carts at Mac. I think it was a nightmare. So I want to make sure we always have new carts. So we increase that to make sure that fund, and if that fund is healthy, it self-sustains itself. We don't touch that money for anything other than carts. So I think we just did the increase on the carts. I don't really want to come back and get another increase on carts.
And I've got one more suggestion that I'm probably the only one in here that cares about this. Those who know me know that I suck playing sand traps. Get rid of them. That is statement. It'll make it easier to mow when you get that fast. What now? It'll make it easier to mow and you'll save gas. Right over those homes, fill them in with dirt.
He's trying to spin this like it's a benefit to the golf system. We actually are we're doing some bunker projects this year. So it's starting next week. We're going to add a lot of sand to the bunkers. I know a lot of them, they need just work over. So we're doing all the bunkers at Mac. We're doing them here. And also at Sim, techs are a little better. So going to do some stuff there. At Mac, we are looking at eliminating some of the bunkers that are
like 80%. Can I pick the one?
Mac has some odd bunkers. We have a bunker and then a bunker and then the green. And pace of play, someone gets in that front bunker, they chunk it to the next bunker, and then they blank it over the green. So it's a pace of play issue as well.
I'll take trees over bunkers any day.
They're a maintenance nightmare too. That's serious.
In concern of bunkers, Jesse, as we suggested, they're going to eliminate some and renovate some. But doing a bunker, from past experiences, you probably all know, you just can't say, well, we're not going to have a bunker here anymore.
Oh, we can't say that.
Well, you can say it, but it doesn't work that way. In order to convert a bunker back into grassing, you still have to have the proper drainage. You got to contour that to make it effective where you can lay it. So it isn't just going out and throwing some grass seed on it. There's some other considerations that go into eliminating bunkers. But you're absolutely right. There's a lot of things that the bunker, I used to do these. And the greatest expense to upkeep on a golf course is bunker upkeep. I mean, it's just the way it is.
It's time and expense. They were a maintenance nightmare.
So,
okay, let's go through the other thing real quick and then we can come back and discuss. The next option again is Randy's.
It's just another 5-day option. Make the 5 days or $5 more, put a 20% discount on them. Again, nobody gets hurt. The 7-day senior is $100. That's 2.5 green fees, and you play for 30 days. I mean,
So it include the golf cart?
No.
All right, so that basically, the option before was a 10% discount, this one's 20, and then the final pass, this one's just a straightforward. We just across the board increased everyone, so, I think this came from Jesse, I'll go through it, you can add if you want, but we got $89 for the young adult, up from 80, 126 for adult, up from 118, couples 145, up from 135, seniors from 70 to 88. I think seniors right now would, if I'm doing this math wrong, tell me, I think there's a 44% discount. Is that correct? 40% discount. And I think, this goes
Drop to 30.
This goes to a 30.
30% discount. And then we also changed that young adult from 18 to 34 to 18 to 25. When do we become an adult? So I thought that was a little long from 18 to 34. So let's bump them up to 26 to the adult. And I'm with you on that sand trap. My wife, when I come home, I take off my shoes, I blame all that sand on my dog and say, hey, he's the one who did it, not me. But
when you come home from a tournament, you can sandbag.
But
Couples is still real cheap.
What's that?
Couples is still real.
Yeah.
cheap. Yeah. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Why they make it?
And they still generate more money than the seniors.
No.
They generate $20 a round, the seniors generate $14 a round.
Around, but they don't pay much. They don't pay much.
Exactly.
so absolutely agree with you on that. I have a couple and my wife never plays, so I pay 100 for myself.
She doesn't play half and half. Not pay for it anyway.
Yes.
Do all of these options generate the revenue that you're wanting?
Yes, some are easier to quantify than others. If we do the 5 and 7 day, who's going where? I mean, it's kind of hard to say exactly, but yeah, I think so.
Jesse, based on 1,580 memberships and you need $200,000, I know this is simple, but why would you just increase every membership $10.55 a month? That gets you your 200,000. And leave it, everything else the same.
Well, we're trying to get it to where the seniors don't have such a big discount. A 40% discount is often, can you tell me anywhere else you get a 40% discount?
The couples get this free coffee, that's 2 people.
Free coffee on Wednesday, okay. I mean, you have to kind of think at some point, you kind of have to pay your fair share. And I know nobody wants to pay more.
65 years.
I know nobody wants to pay their fair share for 40 years.
Another thing, seniors are on the
I'm not
fixed
talking
income.
about 40 years, I'm talking about today. I
You're
guess it's
saying
40 years.
You're saying we get a 40% discount, but we're playing 50 to 60% more than they are.
Exactly.
So it's definitely offsetting.
Exactly. So if you were playing 47,000 rounds, how many full paying green fees do you think we could come in here that would give us $40 instead of 14?
When they play once a week to give you that extra money, we're doing it 3 or 4 times a week.
And then only have to do it once and then it's about the same.
I think that.
Oh, I totally understand. Believe me, I've looked at these numbers more than you can imagine.
I think to avoid these issues going forward, you're just gonna have to come up with some other ideas. Take 3 restaurants in town and 3 hotels that say, hey, we'll put a golf package together for you, 3 days. Get them they'll love having people in their hotels. The restaurants will love them coming in. And that's extra income, that's coming outside of people in this room. If you mean, this is gonna continue to go up. If you bring these guys to continue to get older.
How are they gonna play?
I didn't look at you yet. I'm just saying, there's gotta be some outside things you can think of.
We've added things that we definitely added different streams of revenue.
I've never been offered a golf package and I've been here 30 years and I spend $1,000 a week when I go out of town to golf. So why can't we do it? All you gotta do is get with the chambers of commerce and say, hey, look, Wichita's now offering a golf package in the city of Wichita. You can take your choice of any 3 of the 4 courses that we've got. And we'll put this special package together for you. One night you can eat here at this restaurant. You have 3 restaurants. You pick your choice. which night you want to have, coordinate that reservation with them, and everybody wins.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. That would kind of be above and beyond because we can't guarantee revenue. We have no idea.
No, but it's some places to start to kind of offset some of the deficiencies, maybe. I don't know. Just an idea.
What it's worth, I like this option 6. I think it's a little bit of pain for everybody.
Yeah.
And I also like the young adult being moved from frickin' 33 down to 25. So that's for my 2 cents.
My guess, I wasn't here when that was put in place. I'm guessing the 33, they were, whoever put this together, I don't even know who it was. They were probably looking at a private club with a huge initiation fee. They went online. That's standard when you have to pay $70,000 to get to join. And they used it, and then this is a whole different business. And I think that's where that came from.
I'm listening to what he's saying here, and I'm kind of in agreement. Is there, whoever put together option 1, who put together option 1?
It was the discussion with the first discussion we had.
Who can compare option 1 with option 6? Because they seem like the two best.
Option 6 is not very fair. It's not fair to.
Option 1 is the one option that we actually voted on one time.
And then.
It was.
I'm just saying, I've forgotten what option 1 is now that I've seen all the options.
It's 6, 7 days.
So, hey, Jesse.
Yes.
How many rounds are for tea time rounds? I mean, like men's clubs and things where they get better tea time slots.
A number on that? I don't know a number. I mean, I would say maybe a quarter. I would say if you look at, now, if you look at Monday through Friday during the morning, there's a lot of leagues. What's that?
You generate revenue for tea time? Yeah. We'd all like that for tea time.
You mean pay more and you get early access to tea times?
Does that number one?
So here's my only, I guess, concern about that. You're saying if someone is able to afford it, they get special treatment. That kind of bothers me.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, you know, I mean, with that model, that's what I feel like that would be an argument that you would get. Is that, you know, we're both members of both.
A lot of times when we try to get a morning tea time in, because all the men's clubs have all the morning tea time. So that's a huge benefit to them, obviously, for no cost. So
I don't disagree with that.
Why is that?
Does that number one cover your costs? Basically, what you need to make.
Not with that alone. We would have to do green fees, which we're going to do, and it's barely. Yes. Sorry, I'll try to get to everybody. Yes.
Go back to, option 6. I know it's fair, it sounds fair to the seniors, but if you look at it from a standpoint, which he was trying to address, we're going from 80 to 126, which is 57%, 58% increase.
Okay, I think what he's saying about dropping the age. You're saying by dropping the age, you're going from $80, now you're have to pay 126.
Right, and you're combining, taking the graphic into one, and then on top of that, you're paying $80 to 126.
I think the reason that's, I mean, 32-year-old, is that an adult? I think that's kind of what everyone's saying, is 32-year-old.
Last time I checked, you're an adult up to 21, so.
Right now, it's 34, that's what we said.
That's gotta drop.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I'm Charles and I have a couple of memberships, so. But I was gonna suggest that we can, I don't know whether it's been discussed, but it looks like seniors play during the week of hours, yeah? Without pissing them off too much, we can increase everybody and leave them as they are. But when it comes to the weekend, we find a metrics where we raise them up, because that's when you're making a whole lot of money.
So on the weekends, there's about 400 member rounds on a weekend, and about 200 of those are senior. So about half of our weekend member play is seniors on average.
But you've been talking about people missing out on tea times because they're full. But most of them, are they playing during the week or during the weekend? We want to find that out because most of the seniors seem to be playing from Monday to Friday.
and you wanna make, and you wanna make money during the weekend.
All right, and I think that's the 5 to 7 day, 5 or 7 day pass option that kind of addresses that.
But then at the same time, don't increase their rates. You can increase everybody else's.
So that would be, so you're saying like,
Two.
the bottom option here. So this bottom option would be these three go up 7 day, the senior would go to a 5 day pass, but there's no increase on price. Is that what you're?
You don't increase them at all.
Right. So that 70-36 is what they currently pay, but they would lose weekend access. And if they wanted to play on the weekend, they would just have to get the adult pass. That's the setup of that one.
No, not really, but what I was gonna say is find a metrics where they kind of pay the difference.
So it's a surcharge if you play
During the weekend, yeah.
I got you.
The men's league here in Auburn plays on Thursday night and Saturday. If they go to a 5 day pass, they, what would they do? How would they have, you know?
You have to pay full price.
Would they have say full price on Saturday?
Yeah, that's the option that was chosen, yes.
Yeah.
I would put forth, you haven't listed it there, you haven't identified it. But every option, too damn many options in the first place. But all the options should have the young adults drop down to 25. All of them. Yeah, right, 33 and 34 is
I
just
don't think anybody would argue with that.
done.
Yes.
Yeah.
One other point, if you raise the senior rate $40, that generates, if you keep the membership the same number, that generates $400,000 instead of $200,000. So why would you want to increase the rate by $40 just to be way more above what we need? If you only need 200,000.
Randy. I think that was your plan that did that. The one that raised the senior up by $40.
For 112, if you keep the same number of 840 players, then you generate an extra
Yeah,
$400,000.
yeah, I was just reducing the discount that the seniors get, thinking that equity for everybody. I mean,
But
somebody who doesn't pay $125 and they get to pay, say, $112, they're getting a 10% discount. That's kind of an industry standard for golf. I don't know if you've looked at any of the golf courses. I've looked around in Hidden Lakes and Cherry Oaks up here, I think are 11 and 13.
So why is it only an extra $20 to have a partner for couples? It's only $20 a month for the extra partner in couples.
Yeah.
That makes no sense at all to me.
There's a lot of.
It's just, that's kind of an industry standard. I'm just comparing them to other courses.
You're gonna get an increase.
Any input from, anybody have anything from the board? Any input?
Jesse, I do.
Yes. Okay.
Hi, everybody. First of all, I want to tell everybody that is here as a guest that I appreciate you being here, and that from all the comments and good suggestions we've heard, I think there's some likely candidates sitting out there for the next round of Board of Governors members, because it certainly seems like they'd like to be more involved than they are. The second thing I'd like to, the second thing I'd like to say is maybe we could throw a tent over this circus a little bit by eliminating some of the options that it sounds like aren't very popular with anybody, and maybe categorizing them a little bit philosophically. So the way I'm looking at it, option 1 and option 6 basically follow our current philosophy. And the difference being 6 changes the ages, which I think we all like, right? So those two kind of go together, with the difference between them simply being the age and a couple of dollars here and there, but not really much. 2 has the philosophy of restricted play for seniors. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm going to have a hard time selling that to my constituency. The 5-day versus the 7-day for seniors. So for me, that's one I could eliminate from my consideration, because I'm not in favor of restricted play for seniors. 3 is the flat fee philosophy. Same for everybody. again, I'm going to have a very hard time selling that one to my constituency. And I think that would be true to any of us looking at the room as closely as I can. It looks like we have a good representation of seniors here. I don't think anybody's too much in favor of that one, even as democratic as Randy is trying to be, bless his heart. So perhaps that's one we could throw out as well. So if we get rid of 2 and 3, and again, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, I'm just trying to take a step forward so that we can move forward and narrow things down a little bit. If we've got 1, 6, and 4 and 5 to discuss, 4 and 5 are very similar. The only difference is the amount of discount for the seniors. One has 10%, one has 20%. Other than that, they're very much the same. So really, we could look philosophically first and say, okay, there's really only 2 philosophies we're working on. 1 and 6 kind of go together as our current philosophy without rocking the boat too hard. 4 and 5 kind of go together more as and Randy, correct me if I'm wrong, it's more of a current market philosophy, with the only difference being the amount of discount to the seniors. So does that seem reasonable to everybody, that we first talk about 1 and 6 as a pair? Do we like something along that philosophy? And 4 and 5 as a pair? Do we like something along that philosophy and get rid of 2 and 3?
Yep.
On top of it.
I think you can get rid of 1, 2, 3, and 4 and focus on 5 and 6.
Oh, no. No.
You don't understand. One's already been voted down once. Okay.
That mean it can't be voted down.
No, it doesn't, but there would have to be some changes before it would get voted in.
It was a split vote. It was 3
The change would be, the change for number 1 be dropping the age for an adult. That's your big, that's the money maker for you there. But.
And that basically makes it 6. Once you drop the age on 1, you're within a couple of bucks of 6.
Yeah. Do people like 5 or do they like 6?
I like 5.
I sure don't like 6.
A couple still have the best discount. Yeah.
Show us 5 again.
5 is more the 5-day, 7-day. 6 is more the, as we have it today with young adults.
I have a question. Is the 5 and 7 day hard for our people at the desk to keep track of when they check people in? Is that going to be a pain?
At first, it would be a little,
I think it'd be hard to keep track of at some point.
yeah, it's a pain.
Yeah.
I've had it.
I can see mistakes being
Yeah,
made.
you have a yellow card or a green card, or you have a red or a blue.
If you show your card.
When you book the tea time, it would either say 0 due or
You're
amount.
not.
But you show up to the course, you don't look at that, you show up to the course, like, no, I'm a member. And you got a 17-year-old kid in an argument that's very uncomfortable.
Well,
There definitely are downsides to that.
90% of the time, the only I get tea time is by online.
Yeah.
Right. Like, we're on the website.
So,
There wasn't a problem, but your name was in the resident, put the name in, it came up, we played on Saturday before 1 o'clock. You had to pay more,
right, and it was,
there was no problem with.
Yeah.
Fines or anything like that.
now, I would say they probably did not use the system that we use, because we're working on getting a new system. It is not easy to navigate that company. But that's our problem.
When your card tell you? Whether it's 5 or 7?
I don't carry it through. It's in the system.
Yeah.
Could we do a vote?
There's both.
Yeah.
It'd be, you know, vote. Yes.
Figure it out.
That was one philosophy. We want to go to at least options.
That's.
Robert. I think there's.
if we have an option 7, option 7 would be number 1, that increases couples.
Yes.
Okay, increasing the couples. And still discounts the seniors, which the lady that you're had on, she's got it narrowed down. I agree with what she's saying. Maybe make raise the couples, but change the age to 25. Those 3 changes would take care of all of them, I think.
So the guy who's paying $14 a round is saying, raise the guy that's paying $20 a round.
Most of the guys.
How did I say raise it $20 a round? I just said change the age.
No, the couple generates $20 a round when they play. The
Okay,
senior generates $14 a round when they play.
here's why.
So if you're generating $14, don't say raise the person.
Okay,
That's getting you $20.
I disagree with you.
Say, raise the guy that's giving us $14. That's what we need to raise it.
I disagree with that because I don't come out here by myself. When I come with somebody else or 3 or 4 other people. Why aren't we coupled? You know what I
Everybody
mean?
comes with something.
Well, everybody has a space. Everybody, if you ride a car, you take a seat. You play 18 holes, you take a round.
Strictly talking about revenue generated per person.
I am too. I'm just saying, why should somebody else pay less? Why should I pay less than this guy?
No, you don't. Seems like the least.
But if I bring a couple, if I bring my wife out here,
Okay, let's take one.
anyway, I'm just looking at the numbers too.
Let's take one more comment and then bring it back to the board. We gotta get.
I like what he said. Raise everything $10.55 and you get your money. It's
Well, even if
well,
you
man,
did
what is the
$15
hard about something like that?
Then you exceed the 200,000.
That's going back to option 1.
Yeah.
Yep, number 1.
But you could bump that up a little bit.
Option 1 and change the adult age.
Yeah, I think that, most everybody agrees that we have to raise the rates. And I think the fairest deal would be to raise the rates across the board, like we're saying on option number 1. Dropping the age from 34 down to 25, I think is in order. But other than that, I think we get away from all this argument if we just have a flat rate increase.
Yes.
And we decided what the non-member green fee is gonna be.
Okay, the option that we have for that, I'll stop before we got to that. This would be the increase, $3 increase for 18 holes, not $2 increase for 9 holes. And then a small increase to the range balls.
Okay. Did you just raise those last year? Yeah, it used to be 5 and 7.
Last year, year before, I can't remember what it was, recent, last year and a half, yes.
What would that make if you were around that, well, that's where the course.
There's 4 different answers there. During the week so Auburn is $5 more, the green fee part, so.
Auburn's 32 and 37 right now.
I do it with a cart, so.
And that's not, I mean, that's what all the surrounding courses.
I honestly, when we did the last green fee increase, we had no comments at all. No one blinked an eye. I don't see a problem here. And it'll definitely generate revenue. I think the membership is what we're trying to figure out what's fair and what's the right number.
Do you guys get complaints? Because, I mean, a lot of us talking around the senior play, driving, the rounds up. Are you guys getting a lot of complaints from the younger players that aren't getting tee times and stuff? Is that?
Oh, yeah.
Part of this?
Yeah. You get every day we get complaints. Saturday mornings are the number 1 complaint.
It doesn't make any difference whether you're a pass holder or just somebody trying to get a tee time. You get complaints from either
Yeah,
side.
you're never gonna solve that problem.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, is a complaint more accurate that they can get a tee time at all, or they just don't get the one they want?
The one they want.
Exactly.
Well, the one they want in a 4 or 5 hour window.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're an individual in a community, you can't get the one you want. Go anywhere, you're gonna have that problem.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm online at 5 o'clock and I'm just trying to get something before 10 o'clock and they're sold out. And I tell everybody it's a concert ticket every day. It goes on sale and boom, they're gone.
Most courses, even like we are, where we have excessive play. When it's 102, you don't see too many of them fighting for that 2 o'clock tea time. So,
Or like today.
Because they like to ride with
by myself today. Yeah, so peak time of year, peak time of the day, right? Yeah.
Can we see how many people here are in favor, not the board, but how many favor of a particular option? You just go 1, 2, 3, hold up your hand and see kind of where the room is.
Can I ask a question first?
Yeah.
For the members of the board who voted against 1 the first time when we had it proposed and it got voted down, I would like to hear some of them explain why they voted against it, and maybe that would help us understand how we can narrow it down further.
Perfect.
I will go. I voted against the first one for the sole reason of 18 years old to 33 is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. If you're a young adult at 21, you can go to war at 18. You're a young adult. So I
So
think
the
that was
age
ridiculous.
is all that bothered you. Age is the only
The
thing
other
about
thing
1
that,
that bothered you.
the other thing that bothered me, and
Can you pull up option 1 while we're talking?
the other thing that bothered me, I respect it. I'm going to be a senior. It's inevitable. But can you tell me where you can go anywhere right now and get a 40% discount for dinner, for lunch, for groceries, for gas? Can you get that? So what I did was dropped it down to a 30% because of that reason. Again, I'm going to be a senior. I respect that. But a 40% discount for a senior is it's just very, very high in my opinion. So that is why I voted number 1 down and decided to go with number 6.
Won't this increase take care of that? If option 1 now, if we voted on it, wouldn't it take care of that?
But the seniors are still getting, on option number 1, the young adult was not changed and the seniors were still getting a 40% discount.
The couples are getting discounts for 2 people, not just one, like the seniors are. Split the couples who have to see what their percentage is.
I know couples that play the same amount of husband and wife because they're playing together all the time, 3 and 4 days a week.
Okay, who else voted
To
against
answer your
1?
question, Marcia, I was one of the other
Yeah, I
ones
want to know
that
who else
voted down
voted
as
against
well.
1.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
I'm one of the other.
Hey, folks, hey. All right. No more. We gotta close this back to the board right now so we can do something. I mean, we can,
Let Randy answer.
so, yeah.
Yeah, Marcia, I'm one of the other ones that voted it down, and it was strictly the second part of Jesse's answer about the 40% discount. I mean, I'm all for giving the seniors a discount, just not 40%. I mean, 20%, I'd be fine with that. Even 30, if that's what Jesse put in his deal, I'm fine with that. But we have to start moving it more towards equality for everybody. It's not fair to everybody else to pay that much more so that a certain group can pay so much less. To me, it just doesn't sit well.
okay, thank you.
Marcia, I was the last one to vote against that. Same thing, the senior discount doesn't sit right with me. If I had a choice right now, I'd say option 6.
Yeah.
That makes the most sense to me. But I'm to the point for the purpose of this board and for Jesse to be able to put new rates out. I would be open to option 1 to get this decided and be able to present city council a firm number increase.
So
for the
I would, if we edited the seniors, instead of a 40, give them a 30% discount. I would be.
Which is
option
number
1.
6. Which is basically number 6.
Basically, yeah.
So as a board, are you guys thinking it's between 1 and 6? We've got to narrow this down and get somewhere.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
1 and 6.
I think it's 6.
Between.
That's a hell of a percentage of increase too, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's $132 a year. That's not a big deal, really.
No.
A year.
I think the most important thing you do is reduce the adult age. That
Sure,
would make
I
a
don't think
big
anybody's
difference.
arguing against that. I don't think there's anybody that's gonna fight that.
so we can vote between 1 and 6 as a board.
I would like to do it instead, yeah. It's your guys. It's-
Against 1 and 6.
Are you good with, I'm good with six. I'm good with six. Good with six? Hold on, are you good with six? Yes, you good with six? Marcia, are you good with six?
I haven't seen the other
Vote.
answers. I just want to know where my vote is in the room. I haven't seen.
Everybody else is on six.
Everybody else agreed.
No more comment.
I'm on 6.
Okay.
Okay.
Cut it down. We gotta be able to hear here.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve option 6 to move forward the 1st of April. Is it, Jesse? Is that what we're gonna look for?
I would like to move it from March to April to give everybody additional time.
The 1st of April. Also included in that motion would be the increase of 18-hole green fees by $3, 9-hole green fees by $2. Large bucket range balls goes to $9 and small bucket of range balls goes to $6. Do
Second,
we have a second?
second.
Marcia seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Nay.
Okay. 6 to 1, motion passes.
Can I ask who was the against? I can't
Never
see.
mind. Okay. We gotta get- that must be Yeah, I have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second? Second. All right. All in favor, aye. Aye.
Hey, Jesse, what was the final vote?
What's that?
Did we get a
What was the
motion?
final
Something, Carrie?
vote?
I didn't hear.
We did like a stop.
It is.
It's adjourned.
Oh, it's adjourned?
Yeah.
The motion passed
Yeah, motion passed 6-1
for option 6.
It's option 6.
Marcia, what was your question? I'm sorry.
Who voted against it?
Mr. Jordan.
I want to thank all of you for being on the board. So it's not an easy job. I sit on 2 other boards for the residential HOA deals. So I know it's no easy task, so thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. That's why I tried to get that.